Greetings, everyone. Peace to you all. Welcome to another episode of Praiseworthy Reviews, where we go through video games to see if they are excellent and commendable. Today, we will be reviewing Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, the action-adventure game released by Respawn Entertainment in 2019. As usual, we will be evaluating the game based on 5 criteria: fun factor, educational value, cultural value, spiritual value, and cost. So without further ado, let's jump in. In Fallen Order, players explore the Star Wars galaxy as former Jedi Padawan Cal Kestis as he goes on a quest to restore the titular Jedi Fallen Order and stay ahead of the Inquisitors hunting him. The core of the gameplay in Fallen Order centers around your typical action-adventure elements of exploration, puzzles, and combat. The environments and worlds of Jedi Fallen Order are exciting and interesting to explore. The game gives players a good mix of introducing new worlds like Bogano and Zepho, as well as allowing the player to explore Star Wars fan favorites like Dathomir and Kashyyyk. Exploration is very reminiscent of a Metroidvania-style progression, where certain areas and secrets are gated from the player until certain Force abilities or droid upgrades are unlocked. While this is common in Metroidvania-type games, this does create quite a bit of backtracking. The backtracking would not be too annoying, except that the game does not provide any fast travel abilities, which is somewhat irritating. Even though you can unlock shortcuts throughout the game, even using many of the shortcuts, some of the maps can get quite tedious to backtrack in, particularly if you need to defeat a bunch of enemies to do so. The holomap does a generally good job of letting you know how you are doing in terms of exploration. The areas that are currently inaccessible are marked in red, areas that you have not yet explored are marked in yellow, and areas that you can explore but haven't yet are marked in green. Main mission objectives are marked in gold. Overall, exploration could have some improvement, but it's not too bad, and it's definitely exciting to explore more of the canonical Star Wars universe. Puzzles generally comprise of using Force abilities to accomplish certain tasks, and as a result, they are generally fun. They're not really any more special than puzzles in other action-adventure games. They definitely give you a feeling of temples from Zelda or tombs in Tomb Raider, but I think using the Force just makes the puzzles that much more fun.
Ugh. Guess a lightsaber can't solve everything.
The highlight of the gameplay is, of course, the lightsaber combat. The combat is Souls-like, although not as difficult. It rewards methodical, careful swings over button mashing, and the game punishes you for deaths, using the Souls-like mechanic of losing all your XP until you recover it from the enemy that killed you. Parrying can reduce enemy stamina, while blocking reduces your own stamina. Occasionally, the enemies will flash red, and there will be attacks that cannot be blocked or parried, and you'll be forced to dodge. However, overall, the combat is a Jedi power fantasy, and you definitely feel very powerful as you cut down waves after waves of stormtroopers and alien monsters with your lightsaber. Players also get to roleplay the other major aspect of being a Jedi, using Force powers. Being able to push enemies off edges or pull enemies toward you is incredibly satisfying, and sometimes slowing enemies seems almost a necessity when you're being overwhelmed by troopers. As you level up, you unlock more Force powers or lightsaber attacks until you feel like you are indeed a very powerful Jedi Knight. Overall, I'm going to give Fallen Order 5 stars for fun factor because the implementation of lightsabers and Force powers in this Star Wars game is just immensely entertaining. On the educational side of things, there's nothing of note you can really learn cognitively from the game. It doesn't teach you anything of interest or value from the real world. However, the difficulty of the game does require some skill. While not quite at the difficulty of a Souls game, it certainly takes inspiration from said games and could probably be considered a Souls-light. It's demanding but not punishing, difficult but not brutal. In lightsaber combat, having a patient defense is very helpful. Attacks are rewarded for being careful and calculated. In short, I think the difficulty is not overwhelming, but enough of a challenge to improve motor skills. Overall, I'm going to award Fallen Order 3 stars for educational value. The visuals are excellent and make you feel like you are playing in an actual Star Wars movie or TV show. In particular, Fallen Order is very reminiscent of Clone Wars and Rebels. The music does a very good job of being in the style of the original trilogy while being completely unique. The game uses very little music from the established franchise, but that's okay. It doesn't seem to need it because many of the new compositions still do a good job of conveying the exploration and the mystery of the Jedi Order. Voice acting is quite good and even features cameos from the Star Wars universe, like Forrest Whitaker as Saw Gerrera.
The Jedi are dead.
The narrative is basically exactly what it needs to be for this game. It is an epic David versus Goliath hero's journey, the lone knight versus an evil galactic empire. Fallen Order does a good job of conveying emotional, meaningful themes that are different from those of other Jedi protagonists like Luke, Anakin, or Ezra. The cultural impact of this game cannot be overstated. This is the first Jedi game after the restructuring of the Star Wars canon and has served as a sort of tentpole for future Star Wars games. Star Wars itself is a well-known cultural phenomenon with licensed movies, books, TV shows, board games, card games, and of course, video games. The setting is an excellent choice because it brings together most of the prior established Star Wars canon, including some references to the prequel trilogy. The majority of the enemies are from the original trilogy, with Inquisitors from the Rebel series. According to EA itself, Fallen Order had sold over 20 million copies by June 2021. Respawn released a sequel, Jedi Survivor, in April of 2023, and a third game has been confirmed by the main voice actor, Cal Monahan. Overall, I'm going to assign Fallen Order 5 stars for its cultural value, because it is a top-selling game of a top-selling intellectual property. As with most Star Wars media, content is highly managed. Adult elements are often hinted at, but not explicitly shown. For example, the Captain Grease mentions gambling problems that result in plot progression, but no gambling is actually shown. Slavery and genocide committed by the evil empire are plot points as well. There is of course combat, but most combat is generally without blood due to the futuristic weapons. Lightsabers, blasters, and electric batons comprise most of the human weapons, and these would be categorized in what is generally known in media as fantasy buckets. There is some dismemberment, as there always is for lightsabers, but the game is careful to only show dismemberment of droids and aliens, but not humans. There is nothing sexual in the game, not even scantily clad Leias or Twi'leks to worry about. The overall themes and message of the game are quite positive. For more on the themes of the game, consider watching my biblical themes video of Fallen Order. Overall, I'm going to give Fallen Order 5 stars for its spiritual value. For the time rich, the game is actually rather short, with little side content besides exploration. Combat challenges were added recently in the meditation circles, but these don't add that much to the game. For the time poor, the main story clocks in at around 20 hours if you minimize backtracking, and closer to 30 if you are a completionist. In 2024, Fallen Order retails at $39.99 USD, but it often goes on sale for up to 90% off and can regularly be found for $4 US, which is insane value. Overall, based on the content value, narrative, accessibility, and asking price, I'm going to give 5 stars for cost in 2024. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is a top-tier Star Wars game, and is an excellent video game in general. While not being particularly innovative, it just does the things it wants to do quite well. My only complaint about the game is the lack of fast travel when the environments are just so large, even with the shortcuts unlocked. The fun of swinging lightsabers and using the Force are combined with a fantastic narrative experience that both Star Wars fans and non-fans alike will enjoy, if there is such a thing as someone who is a Star Wars fan. Based on its fun factor, cultural value, and spiritual value, I subjectively assign Fallen Order the rating of priority purchase. That's all I have for you in this video.
So where to now?
May the Force be with you, and bless you guys. Thank you so much for watching, I really appreciate it. If this video blessed you in some way, please consider watching some of my other videos, subscribing, or sharing with me some of your thoughts in the comments below.